Oh, who have reacted? Aber ist das der Ausgang oder ist das der Eingang? Man weiß es nicht. Das sieht mich echt nach eher wie ein Eingang aus. Wenn ich mir so die Statuen davor angucke. Just saying. The gates of Gehenna. Those gates are distorted but steadfast, serving to keep the living and the dead apart. Yeah. They've been accurately realized for sure. Too bad the Testament doesn't give us any clues as to how two of us can force them open. Nor do you have any chance of doing so. Who's that? About time. Weissmann. Hi. Pleasure to see you again, Kevin Graham. I never thought we'd have the pleasure of meeting face to face again. Certainly not in a place bedecked with so many delightful peculiarities. I figured you might show up eventually. With this place being full of people I've killed, your wearing Yardley hat was almost a given. Who is he? He's the biggest son of a church that's ever been unfortunate enough to have in their rank. The bishop of the Congregation for the Sacrament, who went on to become an Angus in all birth. Georg Weissmann, the demon I put an end to half a year ago. That's him? No, discerning your identity was truly my most careless blunder. I never suspected that the priest before me would be the one to inherit the long vacant position of Fifth Dominion. Life does so love its surprises, doesn't it? Well, that was the point. Me being a Dominion was deliberately kept secret so that I could serve as one of the congregation trump cards. Of course, the truth's out in the open now, but it's a fair enough price to pay if it means you're dead. The congregation always were a cunning bunch. They created such an elaborate scheme just to take out poor little me. Was the plan conceived shortly after your stigma first manifested? No, I'm sure it was. And after that, it was merely biding your time till you could make your move. With the Dominion, the sword pale, and a carefully designed game plan on their side, the odds of me escaping with my life were woefully slim indeed. You're right about how cunning they are. In that sense, you're probably just as right when you called me a damn dog. I was fine with being that way too. How respectable of you. I must admit, I'm astounded. I'd carried out plenty of my own research on stigmas and their capabilities, but I had no idea a genuine article was capable of quite this much. What are you talking about? I suspect that deep down you already know the answer, but it is my deepest pleasure to elaborate. The Gehenna in which we stand is a reflection of your latest desires, that you already know. But more specifically, the cause of this is your stigma. Huh? What do you mean? After the Aureole's disappearance, Phantasma was thrown into a state of great confusion. After all, Phantasma was the Aureole's subsystem. Without the Aureole to control it, it was like a ship whose captain had suddenly vanished. Lost. To calm its own confusion, Phantasma sought a new master who could take the place of the Aureole and control it. Specifically, it chose the person with the deepest trauma from among those close to the Aureole when it vanished. Its decision made, it found the stigma that exists deep within you and made a copy within itself. That stigma then manifested your latent desire, Gehenna, here in Phantasma. That is how both this and the Lord of Phantasma came into existence. Kevin, well, I suppose that's enough exposition for now. Now that we're clear of all confusion, I have a proposition for you. One that will allow you to resolve all of this without a single loss of life. A tantalizing prospect, no? You can do that. Really. It's quite simple. You need only to cast away humanity, nothing more. You stigma rose from the ashes of immense despair and guilt. What better way to deal with this situation than to become a being that is not burned by such worthless emotions? You become a truly self-supporting superhuman capable of controlling every facet of themselves. You're insane. There's no way for people to live. Yet it is the goal I obsessively pursue in both life and death alike. My research in stigma was but one part of my effort to achieve it. My effort with Joshua may not have borne fruit, but you, You're so very close to reaching it. And once you become a superhuman, you'll be able to fully control your own stigma and emerge as the new lord on Phantasma. Silence, faceless. Stop trying to deceive him with that forked tongue of yours. Please, I am doing no such thing. I only presented a modest proposal at best. Not one word I've said is a lie, I swear it. You could argue that I may feel resentment towards him for being as instrumental in my death, but at this point, that matters little to me. Everything pays in significance to seeing my long-cherished ambition realized. I abandoned the church's teachings and joined Ouroboros in pursuit of creating a superhuman, and now I finally can. You're insane. It's alright, Reese. You don't need to keep defending me. Kevin? I'm glad to see you understand me. I always knew you would see sense in the end. It's hard to disagree with the fact that I need to be stronger than I am. It was my weakness and my cowardice that led to taking Rufina's life with my own hand. It was my weakness and my cowardice that led to rejecting Mom and allowing her to die. Now it's those same two qualities that have led to Reese and the others getting drawn into this mess to suffer. All of those things are on me. All of them. But you're absolutely right. But there's no need to despair any longer. You have it in you to overcome such weaknesses. Follow the path I've opened to you and they will be a thing of a past, a mere memory. That's one option, sure. A good one, too. But sorry, it's not the one I'm gonna be picking. Man, I'm even more of a loser than I figured. Even now, I just can't bring myself to forget the taste of the chocolate I had that day. What? When Rufina and Reese found me, I was crushed beyond measure. I thought I'd never be able to stand up again and overcome the despair I felt. That's why that bitter yet sweet taste left such a strong impression on me. That's why it gave me the strength to move forward, even knowing how many hardships awaited. Because for every hardship, there'll be just as much joy waiting for me. Kevin. So, sorry, Faceless. This thing ain't gonna work out between us. Very well. I'm not about to force you to change your mind. Let's see how far such pathetic sentimentality will take you when your lives are placed in mortal peril, shall we? Was beschwört da? Oh no, 2 von euch. Oh je. No. Astarte and Rostrum. You have to face both guardians of Gehenna's Gate at once for this round, huh? You may be a Dominion, but surely even you realize you don't stand a chance of winning here. Not when you have to worry about that girl with you. Well, having any second thoughts? Don't you dare listen to him, Kevin. I'll be fine. Let that worrying about me stop you doing what's right. Well, you're right about your chance of winning. 2 high-ranking devils and you again. Just the two of us, things aren't looking so hot. At least that was before I knew I'm not the man I once was. What? It goes Spear of Ur. This is a space element attack that hits all foes on the field and is especially effective against devils. That Spear of Ur is Kevin's S-Break? Ich schätze mal, ja. Wow. Impossible. What is that? It's the other side of my stigma. It's the light side. It's been there all along. I was just never able to see it until now. How can this be? Seems like I owe you a word of thanks, Faceless. Coming down that deal you threw out has finally allowed me to gain a little confidence in myself. As a token of my appreciation, you can be the very first one to see what it can do as its victim. I always knew you were nothing more than a dog. Fine, have it your way. Let's see how much of a difference a change of color really makes against such overwhelming odds. I welcome you to try. Er ist leider nicht ganz voll aufgeladen, deswegen. Und das. Greif bitte einmal ihn an. Dann haben wir das hier. Zack, Heavenly Spear kennen wir noch gar nicht. Ah. Well, das ist groß. Und hell. Big Explosion. Kinetic Barrier. Ah. Aber hey, passiert, ne? So, machen wir nochmal. Damit da die nicht mehr geguardet sind, so viel dazu. Ich schätze mal, machen wir das jetzt mal. Warte mal, du greifst erst einmal Weissmann an und danach zack. Spiel auf Uhr. Das war doch gut Schaden. Das ist mein Tod. Oder doch noch nicht. Okay. Nochmal Spiel auf Uhr. Und Heavenly Spear. Das ist 4. Nice. Dann noch irgendwie geschafft. Da schön. Repeaten, Serum Powder, Tiger Heart, Crimson Eye. Well done. But as long as Phantasma exists, I will never die. I'll always be watching you from here, Kevin Graham. Watching to see just how long you can continue to desperately play tough before accepting the reality around you. Ha 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 ha. Desperately play tough, huh? I wish I could disagree. What do you mean? Kevin, how are you? Are you alright? I'm fine. I think I just overdid it some. Again. I'll be okay though. I won't flop over like I did last time I pulled this. Not after I've made my mind up to finally face Rufina head on. Good. Still, we might have beaten them, but we're not really in the best situation here, are we? How are we even supposed to get that door open? I don't think we're enough to get it to budge. Yeah, but we've come this far. We can't just give up. I think we're going to have to destroy it. As usual, you mind if we at least try something else before you resort into rampant destruction? Besides, I think this gate's the most important defining structure down here. What makes this the replica of Gehenna more than anything? Can't see it being very easy to destroy. Hey. That sounds like... It's just a joke. Oh no. Gilbert. I've never been so happy to see someone in my life. And once again, you go out of your way to defy logic. We found you in some weirdest places, but this one has gotta be the weirdest of them all. How did you get down here? This presence is more than a little suspicious. You're not working with the Lord of Phantasma, are you? The Lord of what's it? No, forget it. We don't have time to chit-chat. We two are now, we're done for. Huh? Was that whirring and the sound of flapping wings? A lot of them. Eek! Hi. Are was the devils? They're not as high ranked as the two we just beat, but they're not slouches either. How are you supposed to take this many on at once? Do something. This is your responsibility. I don't want to die, not here. And you think we do? I sure don't. Damn it, I used too much of my stigma's power. I've got to at least try and give those two an open to get away, but how? Komm jetzt gleich alle anderen Klatsch, oder? So stay back! Kevin, I don't think I've got much of a choice here. Da rein soll jetzt alle anderen, oder? Wie passend, dass bei dem hellen Licht Estelle das erste reinläuft. Kevin, Reese, are you okay? Thank goodness we made it. What is this place? The hell? Oh my, this looks like a one-to-one replica of Gehenna. My compliment to the designer. Nice to see you two hanging in there. I can see you waiting for a fun time. Why the heck is Gilbert with you? You guys? Why, after you fell down here, Celeste was gracious enough to search for your location. And thanks to you having the cube with you, we were able to find it. You finished connecting a path here only moments ago. This door will take you back up to the garden. Really? We appreciate it. I can't believe my luck. Anyway, the talking can wait until later. We'll charge in and try and force an opening in their ranks. You take that chance to break through and get through the gate. Hurry. Thanks. Truly, thank you. Then shall we begin? A most thrilling dawn with devils await. Righteousness shall be victorious. Fall before the blade of Evander. Let's do this. Right. Der arme Typ da hinten, der gezaubert wird, die Zauber von Shara abkriegt und die Sichel von Ren. Nice. Kapitel 7, The Distant Flames, Ende. That's about the long and short of it. In other words, all of this, everything that's happened, is my fault. All of you are victims who had the misfortune of knowing me and getting dragged into this. No apology is sincere enough, but I'm so sorry for what you've been put through. I'm not following. Why? I heard all you said, but I don't think you've got any reason to be that sorry. Come again, Estelle? Based on what we've heard, Phantasma choosing a new master was an inevitability, and something it would have done whether you were there or not. As such, after it lost the Aureole, something like this would have happened no matter the circumstances. I agree. Phantasma would simply have chosen someone else and created a different world as a result of the trauma that lay within. The thought that you might have been chosen is nothing short of terrifying too. Everything that has happened to us in here so far is nothing compared to what we would have endured that had come to pass. Oh, Mueller, your words are like the sweetest kiss turned frozen upon parting. Do you have that little faith in me, your one and only? Warum, Mueller, warum musst du das auch? Jetzt will ich ein Phantasma haben, was auf Oliver zugeschnitten ist. Perhaps everyone here would have been drawn to the most ravenous feast the world has ever seen, but nothing more than that. I'm scared. I'm just disgusted. You're a special degree of creep, you know that? I want no part of any feast that comes from out of your brain. Count me out of this one. I can't help but feel you guys are kinda missing the point. Well, don't take this as me trying to defend you or anything, but in a sense it might have been a good thing you were chosen over anyone else. How do you feel? I'm lost as well. Your stick must obviously be very powerful and it's capable of exerting a lot of control over things. Enough so that Phantasma as it is now exists in a state of order. But what if it had chosen someone else? Would the world have been able to maintain order then? It's possible Phantasma would have been able to contain the chaos that ensued and gone out of control under someone else. Is that what you're essentially getting at, right? I know you'd understand, Joshua. If that had happened, a whole lot more people might have been caught up in this. Not that I've got a problem with lots of guests at a tea party, the more the merrier. Come on, Ren. I think you're the only one who'd be having fun. He's right. I don't think you've got any reason to beat yourself up over this. We're all very different people from different walks of life. But right now, we're all here sharing a common destiny. Yeah, in times like these, we've gotta help each other out, right? Besides, this place relates to the aureole, which is the bird's problem. From my perspective, you are a victim. I couldn't agree more. As such, Kevin, we would appreciate you continuing to lead us as you have done so far. It's time to truly bring an end to what was started half a year ago. What can I even say? First, I'm stupid, then Reese pulls out the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and now you guys. This must be the biggest group of idiots in all of Lemuria. Groß die vier ist eine noch größere Gruppe, wo fast jeder hier dabei ist, also von daher, back to differ. I swear, you wouldn't find a more gullible, naive bunch anywhere on the continent. I was happy to use each and every one of you for your own devices right up to the very end. So how can you be so... It's alright, Kevin. Sometimes you just have to know when to give in. And you're at that point right now. Your luck ran out the second you got stuck with us. Got stuck with you mean? Spending too much time with pushy, meddling do-gooders who don't know when to quit like you is bad for anyone. You wanna say that again? Well, all of those things describe you to a T, that much is true. They certainly do. I think that'd be a good point, though. Yeah, so do I. I think Estelle's rubbed up on all of us at this point, and that's not a bad thing. Thanks, guys? A group of idiots is right. We're smack dab in the middle of a shitty situation here, but you wouldn't know it by looking at us. With a team this spectacular, what do we have to fear? There's a chance we could even overthrow your burning government if we put our minds to it. In just dem Moment, in dem Oliver die letzten Ideen seines Plans eingefallen sind wahrscheinlich. Need I remind you that's not something a burning prince should be saying out loud. Alright, I know when I'm beat. We're in this together. In this together. At this time, I actually mean that. Got it. Well, happy to have you with us. Anyway, at least now we know exactly what we need to do here. We need to defeat Rufina, the Lord of Phantasma. There's no getting around that. Unfortunately not. Indeed. With that said, just where is she? You didn't encounter her in Gehenna, did you? She disappeared immediately after the two of you fell down there. That's a good question. I think it's safe to say she wasn't done in Gehenna with us. If she had been, she would have shown herself at some point. Yeah. But where is she? I believe I can answer that. Celeste, didn't realize you were here. Can't thank you enough for saving our hides earlier. Truly, I doubt we would have been able to get out unharmed if not for your assistance. Who is Gilbert in? We're both grateful beyond words. I was more than happy to help. All of us here are in the same predicament, myself included. You can even think of me as another one of your companions if you'd like. Naturally. What kind of answer are you thinking you can give? Ah, yes. It took some time, but I was able to ascertain her current location. What? Really? Is that what you've been working on all this time? Yes, it is. Through my investigation of the seventh plane, I was able to get an understanding of the layout and content of Phantasma as a whole. I also discovered that Lord of Phantasma isn't in any of the planes, rather, she's outside of them. Phantasma consists of more than just the planes. What's it like outside of them? Think of the planes you've been exploring like a giant multi-layered structure in the center of Phantasma, where all you have known up to this point, but this world consists of more than them. That said, Rest of Phantasma is just a vast, barren wasteland at this point, abandoned and devoid of life. Hard to picture without seeing it for myself. Do you know where in this big abandoned wasteland she is? Because if it's that vast, just knowing she's there probably isn't gonna help much. I have a relatively good idea where in it she is, thankfully. Although that doesn't solve the core problem. If the word vast doesn't do the scale of the wasteland itself justice. I believe it's roughly the size of the continent where you live. It's the size of Lemuria. It is going to pose a problem. Crossing an area massive on foot would take months, maybe even longer. Do we not have any other means of transport that we could use? I'm not sure my power would be of any use to you here. Can't place monument too far from this garden for one thing. Even if we did commit ourselves to trekking across the whole thing on foot, without the cute power we wouldn't come back and resupply. Trying to take several months worth of food hardly seems realistic. Well, this is a tough one. I can only think of waiting for her to come to us. What's up with you, short stuff? Got something on your mind? Well, I was just thinking, why don't you TSA? What? The replica we encountered on the first plane. Yeah, this world is supposed to react to the desires of people in it, right? So why would I say it might not be the real one? It looked just like it. Everyone here is pretty familiar with the real thing and how it looked, so it seems like a ship we could all picture flying easily. Maybe if we all wished for it to fly together, it might actually happen. Sorry, I'm being silly, aren't I? I don't know what's gotten into me. This isn't something an engineer should be saying. I don't think you're silly at all, Tita. In fact, I think that's a fascinating idea. You do? It does seem like the easier something is to imagine. The easier something is to imagine, the easier it is to have it realize in Phantasma. Both you and Julie are familiar with the exact structure of the RSA, while most of us here have seen and been on board of it. This might actually work. There's clearly no rule saying airships can't exist here either, given that we've already been on the Black Ark. Well, Celeste, do you think it would work? TSA was the ship you used to board the Liebe Ark, I believe. And if I were to feed the image of it flying then back into the system? I think this may actually be possible. If all of you are on board, the White Wings will take to the skies once more. We can really make this happen. I can't believe it. Well done, Tita. Totally, you really outdid yourself this time. Wait a second, does this mean we might be able to make the bobcat fly? There's a copy of that here too. Oh, you're right. How many of you are familiar with that? Crap, forgot about that. Think Joseph and I were the only ones who have actually flown in it. Shara, Olivia and I have technically been in it, but that was just a stowaway. Yeah, that was back when we were investigating the airship hijacking. What a fond memory that adventures made now that I look back. I'm not sure what the odds of success would be then. That's a rather small number of people. I think it would be wise to focus on trying to revive the RSA first. Oh, okay. So this sounds like a much better plan than trying to walk there on foot. We should prepare for departure at once, then make our way to the RSA. Don't gotta tell me twice. We'll have a lot in store for us if we're able to make this work. However, I should warn you all of one thing. Once you have flown the RSA to the area where the Lord of Phantasma waits, that will be it. You'll be unable to return to this garden ever again. Please be mindful of that. Never? Not even once? Because we won't be able to use the cube's warp functionality anymore. Correct. Using it to warp is only possible when you are within a certain range of the garden. Go outside of it and it is no longer possible. But before you depart, I would ask that you make absolutely sure you have everything you need, and are ready for whatever you may find there. Good to know. Wouldn't hurt to do some extra training then. I don't doubt we're all gonna have to play a part in the things to come. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't mind getting in some exercise myself. Wouldn't want to wind up being the one to drag the group down. It will be our last opportunity to open the doors scattered throughout our planes and take anything we find to. It'd probably be best I step down as leader for the time being then. If you're just door hunting or trying to get some extra practice, then I'd only get in the way. Anyone else wants to learn how to use the cube or fill out my notebook, I'd be happy to teach you. Just let me know. Let's just be sure that when the time comes, we leave with no regrets. Right. Oh, nice. Das heißt, jetzt das Spiel quasi komplett offen. Kapitel 8. The Future We Dream of. Immer noch nicht das Finale. Okay. Wirkt jetzt eigentlich so. Oder es ist einfach nicht so. Oh, ich nehme aber, mein stärkstes Team mit. Wobei, ne, weißt du was? Ich nehme gerade mal welche, mit denen ich fast nichts gemacht habe.